What is up? Need for Speed Racers. It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. I'm here today with the SILVIA Spec Aero in S-Class. I've got a drift build in front of us, and I also have a grip-ish tune should you decide you want to race it. On the racing side of things, this car is kind of low end of the mid-range. It's got a great top speed, but not really enough horsepower to get you there. As a drift car, it sets up a lot better. You need to carry a lot of speed into the corners, but you can set some really nice lines, and I'll show you those in a moment. So I would say at drifting, it's mid-tier. At racing, it's the low end. So that's what you know going in. Let me show you what I got, and we'll dig in to the build. Now, for the styling portion of this car, it's pretty. I've always loved the SILVIAs. Good two doors, and you put the right setup in these, and they go hard. So there's a lot you can do with the body kits. There's a handful of different ones to choose from. So I give this one a full 3 out of 3. A couple different fenders you can go with. A lot of different front bumpers. Really, you can customize this to look any way you want. My man Don Shogun did this one for us. He did the wrap delivery. I tweaked it a little bit to put my numbers and my name on it, so it's kind of a custom Cornnut Don Shogun type wrap. But it's good. It has a nice look to it. I like it a lot. This is a pretty sweet car. It's pretty sturdy. This is Mona, or the Mona Lisa from Tokyo Drift. So if you're looking to get that car sideways, this is a pretty good build for that. Now for the performance, for the drift build and also the race build, we're kind of doing the same thing. The engine that I honed into here is the 3.5 liter V6. For the drifting side of things, there's probably a couple other engines you could use. For drift, I'm not nearly as picky, but I really like to try to use the same engine for the race build as the drift build as I can for you guys now, because really a lot of you guys are grinding money. I know you're doing a lot of link-ups to get that cash, and so if we can do the same engine for both, that's going to save you, and so that's what I went with. I believe this is the 5th engine over. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the 6th engine over is the 3.5 liter V6. 400 brake horsepower when we start. Now for the parts on the drift build, you're going to do gold super induction, gold super ECU, elite platinum fuel system, and gold super exhaust. And you are going to mate that up to an elite platinum screw supercharger. I'm a big fan of the screw super for those drift events. I tried the turbo, I tried the roots. Honestly, the screw has just got all that torque immediately, and it allows you to run this car in 4th or 5th gear and just kick it out sideways. You are going to be running a Sport Bronze bottle of nitrous, Elite Platinum regular suspension for the drift build. For the race build, we put the roads on, but for the drift, just do the Elite Platinum regular. Sport Bronze brakes, because who needs brakes? And Elite Platinum drift tires. Mate that up to the stock Pro Silver clutch, and then the transmission for this car is by far and away the 7-speed transmission, because honestly all the other ones bring us up in PI value, and that's because of where the shift points are at. When we go down to a lower transmission, 1st and 2nd gear carry you to 60 mile an hour, and so there's an extra shift in there with the 7-speed. So because it's got a faster 0 to 60, it's got a higher PI value, even though really more gears more better. That's what I heard anyway. In this case, it actually is. So the 7-speed is the transmission of choice, and we'll do that on both the race build and the drift build. Excuse me, let me go back to that menu. And then, guys, Elite Platinum differential is what I'm running here. You need to have the Elite diff so you can get 100% slider on both ends of things. So 100% for the drift, for that way when we're getting it sideways for those points. And then for the race build, you also need to have that same diff. But what's good is the drivetrain stays the same for both configurations. So once you buy these parts, you're locked in. You don't have to worry about anything else. Auxiliary nitrous drift, you've got to have that, especially for when the points. And then your other one, that's a throwaway, but I equip nitrous grip because when I'm racing it, I want to be able to do my micro drifts. For the handling setup for the drift build for points, 100% full right, anti-Beyonce, to the right, all the way drift. Steering sensitivity, that's going to be personal preference. I like to go 2 clicks high. You guys go with what you feel. Downforce, I was running it all the way low. You can do a couple of clicks to the right. Those 2 spots right there, just to the right of mid, is going to be 329 as well. But if you go all the way high, that's 330. So make sure that when you're setting this car up, it's either those 2 spots or all the way low. I think for changing attack, So transitioning from side to side very quickly, a higher downforce is better. So if this car is not rotating fast enough for you, you might bump up the downforce. But for the gameplay footage that I shot for you guys today, I was running it full low on the downforce. Traction control is off, and drift entry is gas or brake tap for when I'm doing the drift events. That's going to give you the Nissan SILVIA Spec R Aero 2002, 719 brake horsepower, 545 on the torque. It gets sideways, it's good. This engine does us solid for the drift events. You'll see that I score plenty of points in it. And I'm a little rusty, you guys. I've been playing a lot of the crew recently, Motorfest Beta and the crew too, trying to get my cars up. So I wasn't scoring nearly as high as I typically would, and my racing isn't as clean as it normally is. But at the end of the day, it'll give you an idea what the car performs as. Let me show you what I've got for the race. For the race setup in S-Class, like I kind of described in the early intro, it's got a good top speed, but it doesn't have enough horsepower to really push it. So my rapid transit run, and I'm really good at that track, it's one of my best tracks, I was not able to get this car up to its full top speed. It doesn't carry enough speed through the corners to get a full grip turn, to get that 3-bar on the exit of the last corner. And so hitting that home straight, you do hit 200, 205, maybe 210 if you're really hitting it, but it doesn't do it till the very end of the straightaway. And a good car for that track, it being a top speed track, you want to hit it early. So you'll see in the gameplay footage, I'm chasing a McLaren F1, and I just cannot walk him down in this car. McLaren F1 is a good car, but that's a good baseline. My time on that track with a pretty decent run, don't get me wrong, I miss a couple of 3-bar boosts, but I don't have any big accidents or serious bobbles or anything to lose a lot of speed. I'm just running slow. I mean, this is every bit of 20 seconds off pace. And so keep that in mind with your building this, you guys. It is not going to be something that you can just go and blow out pub lobbies if these guys are in meta cars. And somebody with a good driver mod in any of the mid-range cars is probably going to take this thing. So if you want to drive it, cool, I'm with it. That's why I've got the build for you. But just full disclosure, it's low end of the mid-tier at race. So let's go. For the engine, we are using the same engine. That is the fifth engine over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth engines. 3.5 liter V6, 400 brake horsepower. Now for the parts, you're doing Super Gold induction, Silver Pro ECU, Elite Platinum fuel system, and Super Gold exhaust. And we are going to mate that still to the Screw supercharger. For the racing, I was a lot more involved with the testing. The Screw was by far and away the way to go for drifting. I had to do one playlist to find out that's where I wanted to be. But I tried the turbo just to see if maybe that would help on the top end. But this car struggles at the low end of every gear you shift into once you hit 5th, 6th, 7th. And so because of that, having the Screw would be better. You have more torque, more power to pull you through the gear. And it just really doesn't. That's where this car suffers, is at the top end. It's not bad in the first 4 gears. I mean, it'll get you going, but that's the start of the race. Once you're up to speed and you're carrying momentum, this thing gets walked. And so just know that going in, you guys. Full disclosure, this car's kind of the low end of things. It's not tough to drive, it's just not that good. We are using a Sport Bronze nitrous bottle. We are using Elite Platinum road suspension, Sport Bronze brakes, and Elite Platinum grip tires. You need it, in my opinion, because it's only 60% grip. It's a drift car, but it's kind of an average drift car. We are doing Silver Pro clutch, and the transmission stays the same. We are running the 7-speed, and you'll see that if we switch to any of the other transmissions, it takes us right out of the class immediately. So it's definitely good to go with the 7-speed. We are running the Elite Platinum diff. That way we can get the most out of our slider. And my auxiliaries, as always for racing, is nitrous drift and nitrous grip. So that way you can get those micro drifts. Handling, slide the slider all the way to the left. It is a 60% grip build. It's not bad, not great. Steering sensitivity, 2 clicks high. That's me. Downforce all the way high. For sure, that's where you want it. You can do the last 2 clicks, but if you're all the way there, might as well just go all the way with it. It keeps the car planted. It helps it be predictable. It's a little rowdy, but it's not too bad. Traction control is off, and drift entry is brake tap. One thing I do want to kind of disclose with this car is that it's grippy right up until it isn't. It's like a knife edge. Like you'll be in full grip, everything's fine, and then it'll lose it. And when it loses grip, it goes full drift. You can initiate micro drifts, But if you're just full grip turn and then you hit a bump, hit a curb, any little thing to upset the car, and it goes into full drift and it'll just rotate on you. So that's something you kind of got to be aware of going in. But to be honest, I don't think a lot of you guys will be racing this car unless you're just like an Omega SILVIA fan. It's a lot better for the drift setup. Other than that, top speed's 214 if you can get there. Fishhook maybe, but rapid transit I couldn't. 636 on the horsepower and 485 on the torque, and that is the most you can get out of these engines. I tried, like, that takes us out of the class. This one you have to bring down the transmission to make it fit in the class, and we've got less horsepower and torque. Same goes here. We got a little more torque, a lot less horsepower, and with us needing more on the top end, horsepower is what I was chasing with this build. Same thing there, little more torque, less horsepower, same kind of deal across the board. So out of all the engines that you can build for S-Class, this is the one because it's got the most ponies, and you're really wanting to chase those ponies when you are trying to get on the top end of things, and that's where this car really lacks the most. And so no matter really what we do here, it just doesn't pull hard enough on the top end. But that's going to be me. That's the car setup for the SILVIA Spec Aero. It's okay, it's mid. Stay tuned for the gameplay footage. Got some drifting for you. A couple of pretty sweet drifts on a couple of the drift tracks. Just set it, forget it. Just getting in a perfect line on Millionaire. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Okay. On rails. I already tested this car racing Leia in it, so I know it's the setup. Stock plate, that guy sucks. I've been playing the Crew Motorfest for 4 days, so we'll see if I'm not super washed up. Pretty washed up. Oh, true to the game, that's our boy. I know that dude. He participates in Copium. He's in a good car. We got our work cut out for us. Low key, kind of happy we actually got that checkpoint. I was a little concerned, you know. We're gonna see if we can just keep this boost up. We're gonna cap this corner. Not as smooth as I typically would like to be, but we're gonna take it. Our boy True to the Game's right behind us. We gotta go, we gotta go. See how that McLaren does. I think we got him. Pretty good. I'm impressed with my own abilities to drive the car today, to be honest. Okay, cool. So the SILVIA is not bad, but it's not great. It's a little slow to accelerate, and so you feel that. We got a good run out of that corner. It's mid. It's mid-tier. He's gonna walk us on the launch and into turn 1. See, both of those cars got more horsepower than we do, so they're walking us right now on the straightaway. And there's just nothing we can do. I'm gonna click 7th and hit the 3 bar. See if we can hold this yellow through here. Oh, I hate that we have the downshift. On this track, you want to try to straighten out before you hit your boost back there. I'll do it on the next lap. I'll show you guys. See, another thing, this car's not holding enough speed for us to really do anything. If you're going faster through there, you get a long sweeping left-hand turn and you come out of that with a 3-bar, but because we're going so much slower. No micro drift. Oh! And we didn't get a 3-bar because we tapped true to the game right there. Come on, car! Let's go! We need you! I need you! I cheated that up to the 3-bar before I did it. Trying to keep a steady left-hand turn there, so it gives it. See, only 2 and some change bars. Now that McLaren's hitting about 202 at the start of that straightaway, where we don't hit it to the very end, so we're not really gaining ground on him there. He's driving a pretty clean race. But that gives you an idea where this car is at. Like, I'm not making an abundance of mistakes. Mind you, it's not a perfect run, but, you know, I'm not out here just throwing it away. And we're really not gaining on that F1. F1's good. I'd say it's, you know, top 5 meta cars for grip in S-Class. So, True to the Game is going to take the playlist. I mean, we're running 240. He ran at 248. We're probably 251-ish. That's pretty slow for rapid. Like, 28 is fast. That's what I do in the Skyline. 35 or lower is meta fast for this track. 40 or lower, you're hunting. So, we're off of like what a really good time is by quite a ways, and that was with me running pretty clean with this car. So that gives you an idea kind of how it performs in S-Class as a race car. It's okay, but it is not meta, and you're going to get walked by a lot of cars, and you put some good drivers in those cars and you're just going to be uphill the whole time. Let me show you what a drift run looks like. Even with a score that is 30,000 points less than where I'd like, we're still able to go and do pub lobby stuff. So I would say, you guys, if you're looking for a drift car, this one's probably not too bad. I would say playing with the downforce will probably be really huge. That was a very satisfying drift. Do you see that? We stayed in that lane just perfectly. I will say the car is easy, not to drive, but to control, in the sense that once you're locked into that line, you can kind of just hold the line that you wanted, which is cool. I'm struggling to get the kind of pace I need to go into these corners fast enough. Oh yeah, we just stayed right in that oncoming lane. The oversteer back was a little painful on us, but we're gonna bank here. Nice. Oh, didn't kick out like I wanted it to. Trying to carry some speed into these corners so I can get a really good drift line. We should bank. I didn't, but we should have. We'll bank here. .82, not all that great. Didn't have that good of a line. The car, if you've got enough speed going in the corner, just setting that angle and sliding it around the corners is pretty sturdy. But I was definitely struggling to initiate. And I'm not sure if that's just me being in the wrong gear or what. I have a lot of experience in the DeLorean drifting. That car's a good drift car. I've goofed around in the RX-7. I don't think that car's got enough torque. This really is a cool drift car. It's just geared really inappropriately. For drift events, it's okay. For racing, it's not very good. Did this guy literally switch to a rental? Maybe he decided he would rather drift a rental car, have a better advantage. But this goes to show, guys, like, I'm way off of where I want to be for what my normal skill set is. And we're still able to... if you guys look at my button inputs back there, I literally just tried to shift with Crew 2 and Forza buttons instead of Need for Speed buttons. We're finding a bit of a rhythm there. I say that as I throw it away, right? Not bad. This car is good on this track. Let's bank that score. Oh, I didn't want to bank. I wanted to get here and do this. Yeah, because we'd have our second combo here. If I can get up to a third, we won't have wasted anything. No, a couple hundred points off. 78.6 is not bad for that track. You can do a lot better, especially if you wiggle. But this car's fun to drive. It carries a lot of speed. And so if you're really trying to get those checkpoints and just knock it out, I think it's not a bad drift car. Mind you guys, I'm washed up. My skill level in the drift game's been off. I haven't been playing the game as often as I had been in the past. So don't take exactly my scores as a reference. But overall, I think if you're looking to drive the SILVIA, it's mid-low tier as a race car, but decent, okay as a drift car. But it's something. So if you want the Spec Aero, that's what I got for you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.